Nikhil. Everyone's looking forward to your latest offering. This one's on a magnificent scale. It's called The Empire. And I hear it's in the works since 2018. Tell me about the building blocks of your empire.
Ha! Very well crafted sentence, Shilpa. Very, very. It's not. It's my empire has been a labor of love, so to say. But I think that the labor of I would like to say that the credit needs to be shared. Credit or criticism needs to be shared with Mitakshara Kumar. She's one of the writers of the show, and she's a director of the show, and she's really done a fabulous job. So yeah, you're right. The journey started in 2018 when the Hotstar team, led by Uday Shankar and Gaurav Banerjee, actually gave me the book to read. I had not read the book. The book itself, I believe, and over the years, I've come to understand is quite a has quite a fan following. It has a huge fan following. It may not be Lord of the Rings, it may not be Harry Potter, but it definitely has a fan following amongst the people who have read it.
Why did you agree to take on the empire? What was it about it that really excited you about this source material?
So I'm a history buff. If I'm not on the sets, or if I'm not in the post rooms, if not in the editing, if I'm not working with the writers, I'm reading a lot of history. I like to read. I like to read more real factual stuff. Whether it is Sapiens or whether it is Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Or I'm a big history buff. In this case, when I read the book, what really jumped at me, Shilpa, was that we tend to know the story of the emperors. We don't know the story of the women behind the emperors and what they actually did and what they've actually done and how they've sacrificed. At the same time, while they're sacrificing, they also played games. They've actually manipulated. They've actually been, so how they've used their own sexuality, their own sex, their own looks, their own ambitions, whether whether they've curtailed them or whether they've let it fly to create these huge historical figures that we have come to love or hate, depending on where or which part of the spectrum you stand on. So it is a women. And that's why the show is not called The Emperor; it's called The Empire. Right? For getting Mitakshara Kumar as a director of the book of the story, bring Bhavani Iyer to write it. It was very important to have the woman's voice in the story, and that I think is very important.
It's almost like Sanjay Leela Bansali has trademarked history in the last few years. And also the director, Mitakshara has also aided with him on Baji Rao Mastani. So how did you avoid that sensibility, right? Or were you trying to avoid it at all in the first place?
No, I was trying to avoid my sensibility.
Okay. You didn't mind you didn't mind kind
yeah, I don't, right? I mean, I think that when people say that are you at all irked or disappointed with the comparison with Game of Thrones and Bansali, I think that they are very formidable people to be compared to. Right? I mean, why would you not want to be compared to Bansali when you're making something which is historical? Why would you not be wanting to be compared to Game of Thrones when you're doing an 8-part series which is part fiction, part fact, part fantasy, part whatever, right? So I'm saying, so if people say that, I think that I watch, say, I read Twitter and it says ki Garibo ka Game of Thrones. I'm happy to take that.